Hey guys, Anthony with the Rad Company, and in today's video, we're going to be showing you how to apply KCX Koch Chemie Motorplast to an engine bay. But most importantly, we're going to be showing you the steps before that and how to clean an engine bay using Koch Chemie Greenstar. Now, next to my Greenstar here, I have a cylindrical bottle. Yes, they asked me to say cylindrical bottle of Koch Chemie Greenstar already diluted. So this is diluted 3-to-1 here with the Canyon sprayer that we're going to be spraying onto this engine bay behind me. So what do we have here? We have a 2004. So what do we got here? We got a 2004 Mini Cooper S that is Sid's new used vehicle that's never really had an engine bay detail. I mean, she just got it, but we offered to cover the engine for her, especially since we wanted to do an application of Motorplast. Now, a lot of people have had questions about Motorplast. What is it? Why do you need it? Should you put it on your engine bay? Well, Motorplast is designed for engine bays that have a lot of plastic, right? Most modern vehicles that we're seeing nowadays are seeing pretty much an entire plastic engine. So what does KCX Motorplast do? So Motorplast is going to apply essentially a thermoelastic bond to all of the plastics, rubber bits, and other types of parts on the engine bay that are going to allow it to displace water. Yes, so it's going to be hydrophilic yet hydrophobic, meaning it's going to need the water to create a bond, but after that point, it's going to be hydrophobic in the fact that it's going to displace that water, keeping it away from electrical components and also keeping corrosion at bay. So it's not only a product that's going to make the engine bay look good in terms of being a dressing, but it's also going to serve a purpose as well. So with that said, I know it's a lot to cover. We're going to be giving this a spray down with a pressure washer. We're going to do it safely and as effectively and efficiently as possible, meaning that I don't want to spray anything that shouldn't need to get wet, but I also don't want to miss anything because there's plenty of dirt on it. After that, giving it a spray down with our Greenstar diluted at 3-to-1 here, and then scrubbing it down with our soft bristle brush, rinsing it, applying this, and then letting it bake like a beautiful cake. Let's get started. All right, so before you go dousing your engine with water with a pressure washer or a hose, you have to ask yourself, do you feel comfortable doing this? Do you think that this is something you can do or your engine can take, right? Because on a lot of older engines, they really shouldn't get wet. On most newer vehicles, there's a lot of protective covers and things to protect all the electrical components that are really sensitive to water. And so just make sure you know what you're doing before you start spraying everything down. With that said, whenever I'm doing an engine bay, I always like to start with the top or the bottom of the hood first, right? Because a lot of that runoff is going to drip down on the engine bay as well. So cleaning this off really quick, I might even pre-spray that with some Greenstar in between, and then spraying this and then hitting that with Greenstar as well. So let's get after it. All right, so with everything doused down, one thing I also want to point out too, let the engine sit for quite some time, right? The longer you let it cool off, the better. This had a little bit of heat left in the intercooler. You can see a little bit of that kind of steamed up from the top there. But fortunately, we're using deionized water, so it's not gonna leave any spotting behind, and it is safe. So now that that's been soaked down, I'm gonna start spraying everything down with our Greenstar here. All right guys, so that was about a, 8-minute agitation. So I'm focusing on all the plastic bits, the intake box, all that kind of stuff to make it look nice, and it allows the Motorplast to stick better, right? A cleaner surface is going to allow it to stick, especially if you have an old dressing on all of the plastics. You want to remove that first before applying Motorplast so it has better adherence. So with that said, let's go ahead and start rinsing. All right guys, it's time to apply our Motorplast. So we've just rinsed the engine bay, got rid of all of the residual Greenstar that we frothed up, and now is the time, because at this point, it's vital to apply the Motorplast now because the engine bay is still wet, meaning that it needs water to form its bond. So plastics are going to be the important part for us to get covered. Now what I like to do when I apply the Motorplast is to get even coverage of the spray over every area I'm spraying. So I want to make sure I'm seeing little beads of water or little bubbles across the entire surface because I know it's going to create a very uniform look. Now what happens if you get it on painted bits? Does it matter? No, it doesn't matter. It's totally safe for painted bits as well. It's not going to make it look any better necessarily, so that's why it's not really great on painted parts, but it's not going to do any harm. So if you do get it on there, you can leave it, let it create a bond, or you can simply wipe it off with a towel. All right guys, so we just popped the hood and we are left with a very good looking Mini. So basically what we did is we let it bake, right? After it was wet, we sprayed it down with Motorplast and let it sit for about 2 to 3 hours. At that point, we popped the hood, touched up a couple areas with a towel, and it looks so much better. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and hopefully you guys liked the way Motorplast looks. Again, this should hopefully last anywhere from 6 months to upwards of a year, and then you reapply. So as always guys, if you guys like this video, make sure you give us a big thumbs up. Subscribe down below for more and stay tuned for more videos right here at The Rag Company.